Hello children, welcome to Insight in an Academy. In this video, we will discuss few scientists who are responsible for preparation of different types of plastics. So the first one is Alexander Parkes. In 1862, he prepared a plastic called Parkinson. This Parkinson is the first man-made plastic, and this was prepared by Alexander Parkes, right? For this preparation, he used a nitric cotton wool, a nitrated cotton wool soaked in sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. These are the various chemicals used. Sulfuric acid, and when heated, it produced an elastic fabric called Parkinson. This was the first man-made plastic, and this plastic invention of this Parkinson, it gave path to many other scientists in order to prepare various different types of plastics. The scientist name is Alexander Parkes in the year 1862. And next, another important contributions towards plastic industry is made by Dr. Leo Henrik Baekeland. Bakelite, right? His name is Baekeland from his name. The name of the plastic is named like it is given Bakelite. In the earlier case also from Alexander Parkes, it is named as Parkinson. He is considered as father of plastic industry, Dr. Leo Henrik Baekeland. He prepared a substance. It is this preparation of Bakelite. It is an accidental invention. Actually, he was not intended to prepare this type of plastic. Okay, when he was doing research in his laboratory, what happened? Carboxylic acid is added with a formaldehyde, and which is resulted in ivory colored substance, okay, like it's a cream color substance, ivory colored, like a little grayish color. So ivory color substance was obtained. This substance is thermally very stable, which means even on heating, this plastic is not deformed. This substance is not distorted, right? It is like if you don't know what is thermosetting plastic, in the previous video we discussed what are the types of plastics into thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. So you watch the video, you will understand what is thermosetting plastic. This is a Bakelite is a thermosetting plastic, right? For this thermosetting plastic, preparation of thermosetting plastic, it is a revolutionary change in a plastic industry, and this Henrik Baekeland considered as father of a plastic industry. So this Bakelite, which is a thermosetting plastic, to identify the genuine Bakelite plastic, this Leo Henrik Baekeland is also proposed a test. He's also given a test called a hot pin test. This test is used to identify genuine Bakelite. Since Bakelite is a thermosetting plastic, it does not melt on heating. When thermoplastics, they are generally melt on heating. So being this thermosetting plastic, this Bakelite, it is, how does it react with a hot pin? Okay, for this, if you have taken a plastic item made of Bakelite, right? This is a plastic made of Bakelite, using a hot pin, the pin which is very heated, it heated to very high temperatures, and that pin is used to identify the genuine Bakelite. Okay, if we try to make hole using the hot pin, what happens? If that hot pin doesn't penetrate into the plastic, or it doesn't make a hole to the plastic, or instead if it leaves a black mark, or it's like a purple mark, it leaves a purple mark, then we understand the given substance is a genuine Bakelite. Otherwise, if the hot pin penetrates through, you imagine what happens if a very hot iron nail, if placed into plastic, generally what happens? To make holes to plastics, or to cut the holes, to cut the plastic items, we generally use hot objects like hot knife and hot pins and all, because plastics, most of the plastics melt on heating. Okay, if you take a a very hot iron nail, and if you try to puncture to a water bottle, what happens? It makes a hole, it penetrates through the bottle. Okay, but if that material, if that plastic item is made up of a bakelite, a thermosetting plastic, that hot pin will not make it cannot make a hole, and that we understand it's a genuine bakelite. If it, instead of not making hole or leaving purple mark, if it can make, or if it melts the plastic, and that plastic is not a genuine bakelite. Okay, this is a test used. It was given by Bakeland to identify the genuine bakelite. So now we discuss two types of materials into biodegradable materials and non-biodegradable materials. Firstly, biodegradable materials. We generally observe there are some materials like vegetable waste, fruit peels, paper, etc. They are such materials. What happened? They break down into very smaller fragments. It's called a process called decomposition. Okay, if any materials that can decompose by all the natural process, then such materials are called biodegradable materials. So what happens? These biodegradable materials generally decompose by natural process. What is meant by this decomposition? Let us see. Decomposition means material break down into smaller fragments, and these smaller fragments are further decomposed by bacteria, such organisms. So this finally disappears, and this process is called decomposition, right? Such materials which can decompose by natural process, like by, let's write water, decomposed by water, air, okay, bacteria, sunlight. Using this natural process, what happens? If any material can decompose, and it is called a biodegradable material, right? And let's see, second category is non-biodegradable materials, which are not decomposed by natural process. By natural process are called non-biodegradable materials, right? You imagine, okay, nowadays this consumption of paper bags has come, right? People, those are aware of the consequences of using plastic, are using paper bags, okay, or even the polythene bags, like plastic bags which are made, and that polythene bags are also, they are made of biodegradable material, right? And like jute bags, right? Papers are used generally as an alternative to plastic. Why do you think so? Because plastic, or like polythene, which is a non-biodegradable substance. Plastic doesn't decompose into the soil, right? It takes nearly hundreds of years. Even some type of plastics takes thousands of years for their decomposition, right? Whereas generally paper, right, jute, or fruit peels, vegetable waste, foodstuffs, what happens is they generally decompose by natural process very easily. For that, you can do an activity. You collect some samples like let's say fruit peels, vegetable waste, animal waste, paper, a polythene, etc. Collect a few samples of such materials, and in a soil, dig a pit and place all these items in the pit and close it, bury them in soil, and you just observe after a few days. After a week, just observe these materials that are buried after a week. After a week, what happens? You will see which material do you think you identify in the pit after a week. Can you identify fruit peels, vegetable waste, animal waste, paper? No, you can only identify these polythene cover. If I say only polythene cover, except polythene cover, all these fruit peels, vegetable waste, animal waste, paper, all these things you cannot see in the pit after a week. What happened to them? Why do you think they disappear? Where did they go? right? Generally we used to see outside if any small animals like rats and all, like when they die on roads, we see after a few days they disappear, it disappears from there. Okay, what happened to them? They are generally eaten by other materials, or the remains are decomposed by bacteria, natural process, right? Water, air, sunlight, bacteria, they completely disappear. It consumes or it decomposes and it disappears. Same thing happen to these fruit peels, vegetable waste, animal waste, paper, etc. This natural organic materials, what happened, they also undergoes decomposition by this water, air, sunlight and bacteria, and finally they disappear. How about this polythene? Polythene covers are a non-biodegradable materials. These non-biodegradable materials, right, do not decompose into the soil. For this, they take nearly 1,000 years to decompose. This is very, very long time. But you see, to decompose one particular polythene bag, it takes nearly 1,000 years. But in 1,000 years, imagine how much polythene is accumulated in the earth surface or into the different layers of earth. Okay, it forms an artificial layer on the surface of the earth. Okay, when it is not properly decomposed. If we excess use the plastic, overuse the plastics, or improper decomposition of all this phosphate or indiscriminate use of plastics, what happen? They do not decompose into the soil. Instead, they form a layer on the soil, and this plastic layer trap all the sun heat into it and increases average temperature on the earth surface. This average increasing surface leads to the global warming, and this is every year by year we see the temperatures, every year temperatures keep on rising. Okay, and this is one of the reasons. What is it? Excess use of polythene is one of the reasons for increasing the average temperature on the surface of the earth, which is called global warming. Okay, this is one of the reasons. There are some other reasons, but is a main threat to the humankind using of polythene. That's why you see our Supreme Court of India also has banned some kind of plastics. For example, especially in our earlier classes we discussed, it's LDPE. There is a type of plastic, low density polyethylene. There is a plastic which is ultra thin. This plastic is ultra thin. We imagine this is very thin, but it is also very strong. It is also very strong, and this takes lots of years to decompose. It is almost cannot be decomposed by any other process, like it's non-biodegradable, which was used to make polythene covers, but now this material LDPE is completely banned. Polythene bags are also banned. Polythene, these two are banned in India by, it is given by Supreme Court of India. Alright, so that usage of LDPE or polythene covers is actually, it's illegal now, but even you see if you go out, we available, like some shopkeepers used to give all these polythene covers which are made of LDPE and all, but it is everyone's responsibility to keep our environment safe. For eco-friendly, it is develop eco-friendly environment. Okay, it is everyone's concern. In our, like for that, what we have to do? We have to decrease the usage of plastic. And then, as I told you, this is a serious threat to the environment, to the humankind, to animals on the earth planet. So there is a necessity to decrease the use of plastics. So to decrease the use of plastics, but I told you in earlier videos, plastic is a very important material. Polythene, it's a very important material which make life so easy, right? It gives so much relaxation to people, like instead of using traditional material like glass, wood, metals. So these plastics are light, like advantages of plastic, using plastic. Plastic is unreactive. It is very durable. When it contact with water, air, sunlight, it does not generally damage. Okay, it is non-reactive, it is very strong, it is unbreakable, available in different sizes, different shapes, different colors. right? Cheaper than the traditional material, very important aspect. Because of all reasons, plastic is became very important material for the humankind. But if we have to use this plastic wisely, if we use it foolishly, or if we overuse the plastic, and this leads to a serious damage to the environment. And to keep the earth safe from the overuse of plastic, we have a principle is proposed, which is called 4 R's principle. 4 R's principle. What is 4 R principle? We'll discuss now. Now we discuss 4 R principle. This 4 R principle is used to keep earth safe from plastics, right? Now 4 R principle. What is this 4 R principle? There are 4 practices in 4 R principle. First one is reduce, second one is reuse, third one is recycle, and fourth one is recover. If everyone can follow these 4 practices, what happens? We can reduce the use of plastic. We can overcome the consequences which will be faced by overusing the plastics. Let us see one by one. Let us discuss. First one is reduce. What do you understand by the word reduce? We have to, it is regarding plastics. These all 4 words, reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, are generally related to plastics. Let us see, first one is reduce. What to reduce? Usage of plastic is reduced. Usage of plastic is reduced, right? Now imagine, wherever it is possible, we can reduce the use of plastics. For example, nowadays, if there is any function, can be marriage, birthday function, or like anything else. Now you can see the food that they serve, how much plastic is utilized in a function. Let's see. They serve food in plates, plastic plates, right? What's in which substance, which material do they provide water, right? We know what disposable glasses, right? They serve ice creams. What cups they use? Polystyrene, right? Polystyrene cups. Then spoons to eat ice creams and all sweets. What is the spoons made of? Plastic. Imagine in one function, how much plastic is produced in the form of disposable water glasses, right? Ice cream cups, spoons, etc. There is much plastic is produced, and you imagine how much plastic is produced worldwide in a day. It goes very huge, and disposal of that much plastic, it is very difficult. Okay, a difficult process. So that we have to avoid usage of plastic whenever it is possible. We can reduce, instead of disposable glasses, we can use paper glasses, right? We can use wooden spoons, right? So this reduce, whenever you go to shopping, like markets and all, we can carry our own bag, okay, which may be a polythene bag or a paper bag, or like jute bag, etc. Cotton bags, like natural fiber bags you can use, right? See, but what do we do generally? We go to market with empty hands. We purchase various items. All those items, for each different item, different polythene bags are given, and all the polythene bags we just bring it home and we throw them aside. Okay, that plastics, that carry bags are like non-biodegradable. They do not decompose into the soil. It creates environmental pollution. It's a soil pollution, right? So that instead of that, we can make small practices wherever it is possible. We can reduce the usage of plastics. Like for example, taking our own carry bag to the shopping. Okay, avoiding plastic whenever it possible. Like using these things, we can reduce the usage of plastic. This is the first R in 4 R's principle. Second one, okay, some cases like we cannot reduce the plastic. For example, instead of, there are many plastics which can be reusable. reusable. If you have a polythene bag, instead of simply throwing it outside, you can use it for the future purposes, right? Whenever you go next time to the shopping, you can carry the same polythene bag instead of bringing the new one. Is it clear? And also there are water bottles, right? There are some jars, food packing materials. These all plastic items, most of them in it are reusable. So you can reuse them until they breaks or until they become unfit for the usage. We can reuse them. So reusable items are repeatedly used to decrease the usage of plastic, right? And third one, recycle. If any plastic item that we have is broken down, generally we see some vendors, local vendors used to come, they used to purchase the broken plastic items. You see, the scrap, if you have any broken plastic chairs, broken water bottles, plastic things you have in your home, they used to purchase it in for less quantity. Did you like imagine anytime what do they do with that broken pieces of plastics? What do? They make that broken items to the recycling plants. Where do they go? They give it to recycling plants. What happens at recycling plants? This plastic, whatever that broken plastic item which is given, according to the code on it, we discussed in earlier videos, like there are various types of plastics, right? Like PET, PET bottles, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, right? HDPE, high density polyethylene, polystyrene, right? Polypropylene, such various plastics are there. All those plastic, each plastic item is coded. What type of symbol we see? We see this chasing arrows, the arrows in a triangle, like chasing arrows. These arrows represent, this arrow is a recycling code. It is a recycling code. If you see this recycling code on any plastic item, which means that plastic is recyclable, right? And what is the use of the resin identification code? For example, if it is number 1, what type of plastic it is? It is PET bottle, PET. Okay, so based on this type of plastic, at recycling plants, what do? The people sort out the various type of plastics. Each plastic, every plastic is made up of polymer, but that polymer is different for different types of plastics. So that during recycling process, what do? They take all the same type of plastics, like the broken items of same type of plastics. For example, if all the PET bottles are there, all the materials, plastics made of PET, they separate in a different lot, and the total entire lot is then heated and melted, and that melted plastic is recycled into a new product. These new products are again, like we can use as they are like new. We used to hear like some virgin plastic. Virgin plastic means it is a freshly prepared item. It's a first item prepared using that plastic. Whereas other plastics, if you see, like second grade plastics, which are actually recycled. Okay, when virgin plastic item is broken down or it gets damaged, then it is recycled to produce a second grade plastic, and that plastic is used to make different types of new products, right? This is recycling process. In this recycling process, this resin identification code, recycling code, plays very important role. So based on this, they arrange all the different types of plastics, and each lot is separately recycled. If any other type of plastic is placed, for example, in a lot of HDPE, high density polyethylene, it's a type of plastic. So all HDE plastics are sorted out, in which one PET bottle is also mixed with. What happens, right? This HDPE contain different type of polymers, that of PET, PET bottle. Okay, so that this PET completely spoils the total lot of HDPE. Okay, HDPE lot is completely wasted. Okay, it is not suitable for making the new products. That is why what the people do, the people generally sort out at the recycling plants into different types of plastics before they recycle, before they made into new substances. This is a recycling process. Okay, during this recycling process, what do? some plastics, they identify, they classify different type of plastics and they generally recycle. And coming to the fourth R is a recover. What is recovered? For example, can all type of plastics recycled? Can thermosetting plastics recycled? They are not recycled. Thermosetting plastics are not recycled. Why? Because they are thermally stable. They do not melt on heating. Okay, so that they are not suitable for recycling process. For example, you see computer keyboard, okay, electric switches, which are generally what? Thermosetting plastics. And same way, if you can see ceramic plates, okay, meal plates, cups, etc. They are made up of a special material called melamine. Okay, so this keyboard and switches, they are made up of a substance called bakelite and melamine. These are the two examples of thermosetting plastics. Right? These thermosetting plastics are generally thermally very stable. They do not melt on heating. Hence, they are not suitable for recycling process. If any plastic is not suitable for recycling, for example, or otherwise, if any plastic is not uncoded plastic, what happened to uncoded plastic or thermosetting plastics, which are non-recyclable? They are generally undergoes a process called recovering process. During this recovering process, the sources, whatever the materials that are used to make these type of polymers are recovered into other substances called, they are considered fuel to generate electricity, to make fertilizers, into other useful products they are made. So this process is called a recover. If the plastic is not suitable for recycling process, then it is recovered. It is recovered, like in which it can be heated, it is burnt in incinerators to produce fertilizers or to produce electricity, and it is used as a fuel. So various process the plastic is completely utilized. Okay, this is called a recover. So these four R's principle: reduce, reuse, recycle and recover. These 4R principle is very useful in order to dispose or in order to use plastic so wisely. So according to 4R principle, if we can use plastics, and plastic will be a good gift to the humankind. If we overuse plastics, it's a great curse to the human being and mankind, and this completely destroy the surface of the earth, and by increasing the temperature on the earth and other natural resources. Like for example, when plastic is burnt, the burnt plastic produces very harmful gases into the air, so air pollution takes place. If this plastic is indiscriminately used or improperly disposed in the soil, it causes soil pollution. So what it causes when it is burnt? It causes air pollution. On burying in the improper disposal leads to soil pollution. When soil is polluted, air is polluted, we get different diseases, and soil pollution happened, crops cannot grow, like the fertility of the soil is lost and the crops cannot grow, so that the people may have to receive the hunger due to improper or insufficient production of the yields. Okay, these are the various consequences of plastics if we use them foolishly, if it is not properly used, not properly disposed. Instead of using this 4R principle, if we can use the plastics, then plastic definitely we can reduce the consequences faced by using the plastics. So this is a lesson, synthetic fibers and plastics. I hope you understand the concepts in this video, and thank you for watching.